real world. So you're trapped. You're either trapped here in good or bad. So you continuously acquire punya and papa. Krishna says, if you want to cut off that cycle of acquiring punya and papa, just offer the results to me. You work. So we cannot work without desires. We have to work with desire. Means if you do something, you need to know that like you need to have some push to do it. Otherwise, why would you do it? You do it for you have the desire, but you don't get attached to the desire. Means you don't expect that it has to happen this way because I've put effort. It's not in your hands. I have to acknowledge that I have no capacity to gain anything. Some people study hard. They might not get what they think that they will get. They might even, so many examples are there where people committing suicides after even get 85, 90% marks because they wanted 98. Now they commit suicide because they're so attached to the result. No, it is not. It is not fair. I am worth more. I'm worth more. That is the material world's push now. You know, that is how. That is how they advertise. It's a world of advertisements now. Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj always says this. It's a world of advertisements everywhere. It drives you crazy. You don't worry. You can get it even if you don't have it. We will give it to you for installments. In fact, the whole Western world runs that way. Nobody owns anything in one way there. The houses, the gadgets, so many things. We are still paying for it. Don't even owe it and then own it, and then finally by the time we own it, it's already old. We need to change it, right? It is so common. We work hard for it to own it, but by the time we own it, it's already old or it's already under repair. So the advertisements is done in such a strong way, we get carried away from it. So L'Oreal says, you're worth it. Nike says, just do it. Means don't feel any guilt, just do it. And there's another ad. Goswami Maharaj says, of some brand. It says, total indulgence, zero guilt. Zero total indulgence, zero guilt. Maybe a chocolate or something like that. Total indulgence. I mean, don't worry about anything. Just indulge in sense gratification and zero guilt. No guilt at all. Absolutely no guilt at all. So this is what the slogans they are using us to provoke our mind. Means mind is the master of senses. So if the mind is provoked, all the sensors are triggered. So which serves the mind? All the senses are serving mind. So the sadhana bhakti, the abhidaya aspect is to be filled with proper conception. So karma, Krishna says, he gives stage by stage. He says karma should be offered. You do action, but don't get attached to the result of it. So don't get attached to the result. He doesn't say that don't desire the result. He says, okay, everyone studies exam to pass. Everyone does that for something. There is no wrong in it. But I have to get this much is the problem, because it creates disturbance in the mind if you don't get that. And then from that comes anger. Disappointment leads to anger. Anger leads to all the problems. Anger is the problem. See, there are three things. Shastra says in one place there are two things which create all the issues. In some Shastra says within our own Vedic scriptures, three things. So that is kama, krodha, lobha. Lobha or moha. You can say both. So mainly actually it is two. And even if you go deeper, it's actually one. That is kama. So kama means the desire. Again, I just said that desire is no problem. No, means desire, attachment to desire is the problem. Buddha said the same thing. Don't get over attached. That is the problem for the whole thing. Asaya dukkha ke mula means over attachment is the mula of dukkha. Because you're attached, then what happens? Then you don't get it. Then you will be, or if you get it, you'll get too enthusiastic, too think that oh, you have achieved it, and that is also temporary. So attachment is the problem. So kama leads to krodha. So when we don't have this kind of attachment, if we are attached to Krishna, if we think that okay, I got this because Krishna's mercy, I will offer it to Krishna. How do we offer to Krishna? When many things come in our life, many results come in our life, how do we offer it to Krishna? We should acknowledge Krishna that everything is from you are behind everything. I'm getting it, okay, maybe because you want to give me this, so I can use this in your service. That should be the right approach. So that is called karma sannyasa yoga, not karma yoga, karma sannyasa yoga. Karma, Krishna also says karma yoga. Some people, that's called fruitive workers, karmis. They do particular action to get punya and enjoy in the heavenly worlds. That plane is also there. He even says that there are people, but he says straight away after explaining them, he says that they are the lowest class in one way because they are putting all their labor. It is not easy to even become karmi, right? Present day and age in Kali Yuga, it is not even easy to become karmi. Even karmis look very great here. So many people are doing so many yajnas, yagas, pujas at their homes. They spend a lot of money, time, energy. But if you really look it in the lenses, it's proper eye. Lens means proper eye. If you have the shastra chakshu, means if you know what actually they are doing what they are doing is karma kanda. Even that they are not in Kali Yuga, it is not done properly because the priests are cheating. They themselves don't know what they are doing. You understand? Because karma kanda means you try to live in a proper way in this material world without much exploitation, but you have strong desire to enjoy this material world. I want to be happy here. I want to go to heaven. I want to experience what is in Swarga. I want to experience even in Bhauma. I want to be comfortable till I am there because we will see moksha is there. But in this life, I'm not worried about moksha. Let me first enjoy here. Means let me be comfortable. Let me have my satisfaction in my senses. That is never ending. More we feed to senses, more it needs. It's never ending. So this is the trap. So karma yoga is not easy actually even. Means to do karma properly, means to acquire punya is not easy in Kali Yuga, especially in what we are saying. So many people do many pujas, havans, this, that, but what is the intention? What is the goal of it? To get Aishwarya, to get health, to get children, or to basically take out the negative energy. All these things they do. So many vratas. Even Narayana Puja they do, Satya Narayana Puja. What does it do? What is the result of Satya? Means what is the aim of Satyanarayana Puja? Sometimes they do. You ask the Palashruti, when they're doing Palashruti, they'll say, I have some obstacles that should be removed. Or I don't want any problems in my life in future. I just want to make sure that now itself I am doing something to counterattack whatever problems are coming in my life. Or some people, wealthy people, rich people do always they're engaged in some yagas, yagyas. What is the result if you ask, oh, I should not lose my wealth. I should not lose my power. Or I should get this position which is coming up. This is called karma kanda, means you do it for some gain. But in earlier days, in Vedic times, they used to, even karma kandis, they're very highly elevated because they at least live a very simple life here and they do it to go and experience higher lokas. I want to go to Satyaloka. I want to go to Janaloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka. There are particular activities you need to do and please particular demigods. Understand? So that's called karma kanda. But Krishna Bhakti is far, far away from all these material desires. Krishna elevates from karma yoga to karma sannyasa yoga, then jnana yoga. So then Sridhar Maharaj is saying here, and in the analysis of Abhidaya means when we are doing sadhana or the method of attaining the desired goal. The first stage has been revealed as Krishna reveals different stages. First stage has been revealed as offering all one's actions to the Supreme Lord. All actions are offered to him. They will go to particular level. which arises according to one's progressive realization of the Lord. So this yoga system is all widely preached in India. We think that all the Bhagavad Gitas are amazing. We'll take any Bhagavad Gita and we'll start reading. We should understand the motive behind that Bhagavad Gita. Many Bhagavad Gitas are written when politicians have written. Radhakrishnan has written Bhagavad Gita. He has written, he's an out and out Mayavadi, means they don't believe in Krishna being supreme person or he has form. So that is more in a Jnana Marga. But there are people, I think Prabhupada mentions in his commentary, can't remember. So he says, what is his name? Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He also has written a commentary, but that is more in the Aurobindo has written. They're all in, what's his name? Rabindranath Tagore has written. So they are more in karma, karma yoga. They're karma yogis, means they say that just keep working hard, because they were, of course they will say that because they are patriots. They think the highest thing is nationalism. So still isms are there. Capitalism, socialism, nationalism, my language, my color, my dress, my this, it's all external aspects. They're all important, no doubt. Nobody says that don't be proud of your language. So yes, you know your language well because it helps us to know Krishna. If we are, even Sanskrit is a language. If we know Sanskrit really well, we can actually understand many things which will help us. But the goal should be, we should not be attached that, oh, this is my language, this is the best language in the world, and if someone says about anything about my language, I'll chop them off. That is being linguist, means attachment to that language so much. Think that language is above everything, is the highest thing, it's the supreme thing. Color, creed, nationality, all these external dresses which we carry is the problem. You have to touch Atma. So Atmagyan, how many commentators have really commented properly? They've all pushed some or other thing, karma, jnana, yoga, something. So there are many commentaries. So that's why Prabhupada says, I've seen many English commentaries which has come in the recent times, which is all been adulterated with some ulterior motives. Nothing is presented as it is. Krishna says, Krishna sings this song by giving stage by stage elevation. It takes us to Bhakti Yoga. It is a gradual, some people say, no, Krishna has given many things. Everything leads to same destination. Just choose whatever suits you. No, Krishna has given, yes. Not every person will come to this particular yoga system. Some people will be attracted to karma, some people will be attracted, but Krishna never says that all things will lead to me. No. He says, if you do so, if you will get this. If you do this, yathamam prapadyante. I will give myself to you as much as you surrender to me. Means, as per your surrenderness, I will give myself to you. That is Krishna's words are. That is all in Bhagavad Gita itself. We don't have to go to any other scriptures to prove Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, everything is the Krishna himself says. Arjuna says that after hearing everything, I feel, my Lord, I cannot, my mind, because all these yoga systems are too much from the mind platform. Means mind needs to be used and mind needs to be controlled. I cannot control mind. I can control the wind, but I cannot control mind. So I feel surrendering to you and becoming your devotee and always remembering you and following the bhakti yoga is the safest position, and that is what I desire. So Arjuna is saying that. But we think that no, I'll be a karma yogi. Work for your family, work for your society, work for your national. Everything is temporary here. Everything is going to vanish. Subhash Chandra Bose came to Saraswati Thakur. He said, what are you doing? Like you have so many strong men. We need freedom first. When we get freedom, then we can do all these things peacefully. So give your men, I will give you freedom. That was his saying, So give your men, I will, tum khoon de do, azadi dunga, something like that. Give your blood, I will give you freedom. So he went and asked Saraswati Thakur, but Saraswati Thakur was very well. Tomorrow is his disappearance, by the way, I just remembered. So please, remember Saraswati Thakur. And he's Guru of Srila Prabhupada. He's one of our acharyas in our line. And if possible, keep half day fast. And fasting means what? Actually, that half day, we don't really do too many things because we are always engaged in cooking, cleaning, this, that. So at least we make ourselves free so to serve more. So people who are not closer to any ashrams and Vaishnavas, they can serve by chanting the holy name more, by reading a book, by remembering, ultimately by connecting more to Krishna. That is what we have to engage in. So Saraswati Thakur said to Subhash Chandra Bose, you want to give freedom to the country. I am trying to free these people ever from this material existence. Such a beautiful answer. Subhash Chandra Bose understood. He was an intelligent man, and he was. It's not that he is like dull-headed from spiritual perspective. He also had refined theistic intelligence. So he just bowed down to Saraswati Thakur. I got the answer, and he walked out. Subhash Chandra Bose wanted to take all the men from Gaudiya Math to engage them in war. But Saraswati Thakur said, you are trying to give freedom to the country, but I am trying to free them from this material existence. And if they get better in this, they will get everyone attracted. So I'm working on the supreme good for them. You're only working temporary good for someone. That even not, it's not, he even said, it's not guaranteed once you get freedom, you will be happy. Are we? Are we really, have we got freedom really? Actual real freedom is completely depending on Krishna, not in being independent. Independence means not freedom actually, because real freedom is completely depending on Krishna. That is freedom. Purandara Das says, I am the most wealthiest, I am most happiest because I've got you. Who is more wealthier than me? Because you are Lakshmipati. I'm the most happiest. You are Atma Rama, Ananda Rama. So, and Gopalas, look at them. They are so happy. They can walk into Agasura's mouth. They can jump from trees to Yamuna. They can do any activity because back of their mind they know we have Krishna, and not even knowing that he is God. They have fully surrendered souls there to Krishna. Our Krishna is there. He will look after. No problem. Full dependence is actually full freedom. If we think that, oh, I want to be independent, that's where our problems start. Means because we think that we are controllers, we try to sort out problems. Higher devotees, they say, okay, everything is Krishna's will. I am completely dependent on him. That is one of the limb of Sharanagati also. Sharanagati means it has 6 limbs. One day I will explain what are the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. So finally, by giving up all other endeavors, means first giving up the karma, then jnana, then yoga, then finally by giving up all other endeavors, one surrenders exclusively. Ananya bhakta means exclusive devotion. Means ananya bhakti, ananya sharanagati. Sharanagati not partially, fully. That's called exclusive surrenders. One surrenders exclusively, means only to Krishna, not like I will surrender a little bit to Ganapati, I'll surrender a little bit to what if he is supreme, what if he is Subramanya is supreme, what if Indra is supreme, what if sun is supreme. I will surrender to everyone. I don't want the problem. I will worship everyone. I'll keep everything in the altar and I will pray to everyone. I will think that everyone is supreme. So I'm in a safer position. It means that we don't have proper faith. We have not got anything actually. It is just a fear-based concept where we don't stand anywhere. So that's not exclusive devotion. Exclusive devotion means Nine gati, nine mati. Purandara Das says, Nine Swami, Anyatra Daivagala Nanari. I don't know anyone else. I only know you. You are the solace. You are my shelter. And I just want you. just give me your devotion. Just give me your, he says in the next stanza, Ninna Dasara Sangava, is give me the association of your devotees. Because if I get your association of devotees, I get you. That is guaranteed. I don't want you even. I want your association of, I want the association of your devotees. We will end here. Then we will continue tomorrow. So we will go slowly. There is no hurry. Ultimately, we have to be encouraged every time we hear. It's not a study course where we, many people do crash courses, diploma in Bhagavad Gita, crash course. Yeah, it's okay. We are not blaming anyone, but we are not doing any crash course or diploma course. We are here to get encouragement. We are here to get more, and we to get more enthusiastic by hearing Harikatha. If we all feel that yes, I've got some answers, I'm encouraged to do more service, this attempt is successful. And in fact, I get more encouragement. If anyone gets or not, but I definitely feel that, because I'm not the speaker. I'm just trying to repeat the words, whatever I have heard from many amazing devotees. So when it gives me an opportunity to hear the message again and again. I'm still fallen. Trust me, I have all the problems in life. But problems means not the material issues of my life. It is the mental draining, means where everything is pulling down. I'm still trying to overcome all the issues. But what needs to be done for that is to feed the body, mind, and soul proper information, proper message. So we are encouraged to do more sadhana. Ultimately, it needs to bring us to the devotees association. We should hanker more to hear more, to serve them and everything. Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Narsinga Maharaj, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhaktavrinda ki, Sri Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Any questions anyone has? No questions? Okay, we've gone past 10 minutes today, but we'll continue tomorrow again. Tomorrow, by the way, Saraswati Thakur's disappearance is there. So I'll be in ashram. By the time we finish the program and prasadam and everything, it'll be 1:30. So I don't know if we'll be able to come back on time. If not, we'll probably do this. We'll skip tomorrow's class. We will do that on Friday. Friday we will continue. Okay. So, but tomorrow what I'll do is I will share, because there'll be a live class. I will share that class tomorrow so everyone can listen. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
What time tomorrow class, Prabhu?
I think it will be around 9 o'clock. Vishnu Maharaj gives class around 9 o'clock. So I'll see. The problem there is, the internet connection is a problem, because we have really good internet connection where our studio is, means where we do publications and everything. But where the Kirtan hall is, that's where the Katha always is given in front of the Garbhagudi. There, the internet, I have to use my mobile internet, and the signal is not that strong. We'll see. If not, at least I'll try to record it and then find some way to post it. I'll probably take Suved Prabhu's help later on to do something there. If not, I will definitely share another one, because Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj gives a wonderful class anyways tomorrow. So that class I will share, so you can all hear the glories of Saraswati Thakur from that also. Okay. So probably tomorrow we'll keep that. So we will all hear Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj or Vishnu Maharaj's class. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vishwas Prabhu, you're coming tomorrow, right? So we'll see.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay.
See you,
great,
Prabhu.
great. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.